Hi, my name is Scotty Shoemaker, and I act under the stage name Milo Scott. And this is the Q&A for Hot Dog with the Salute Your Shorts Film Festival. And today we have the writer and director with us. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Patrick Muhlberger. I'm the writer-director of Hot Dog.
And you are based in Los Angeles, correct?
Yes, based in Los Angeles.
Awesome. All right, so yeah, let's just start out with you telling us like the story of how this film came to be. What was the inspiration, the impetus for writing it and for putting it together?
Yeah, so I wanted to make something that was one shot because I thought it would be easier, which was a poor decision that
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I very quickly learned is a lot harder. But I was looking for something to make like a one shot thing about, and then actually a lot of this happened to me. I was on a shoot and we stopped for coffee, and on the way back to the car we found like a dog trapped in a car in a parking lot, and everybody looked to me for what to do, and I had no idea what to do.
This was like while you were on another shoot, this had happened already?
Yeah, I was on like
Okay.
a commercial job, and like the client was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I've never had a dog. I don't know the rules.
You're like, why are you asking me?
Yeah, and the grip was like, I'm breaking the window. And I didn't want him to break the window. And we called the cops, and the cops were no help. And ultimately the dog was fine, and the dog was rescued. But I just remember being like, I had no clue what to do, and to be like put in like a leadership position, but feel like I had no answers for anyone. It made me really anxious. And so I was like, oh, that's perfect. I want to do something that's one take. And I feel like anxiety will only get worse like the longer the take goes on.
Yeah, so amazing. That is awesome. Well, let's just jump right into, because I was gonna ask about the one take thing. Like,
Yeah.
so is it, and since you mentioned it, we might as well just go there now. So it's pretty much entirely one take, right? Except the very end, he breaks the window and there's a cut because there's like such a change of pace.
Yeah.
But everything before that was entirely one take?
Yeah, it's not like 1917 digital trickery. It's all one real take. Like every take was so different we couldn't have merged them if we wanted to. So it's literally just like one long take, and then like the definitive cut.
Crazy. And so it's like 9 minutes.
Yeah, it's like a little over 9 minutes. It was kind of crazy to shoot.
That's insane. So, okay, I have so many questions because
Yeah.
did you have a focus puller and a sound guy behind the camera guy the entire time?
Yeah, so like
it's very kinetic. He's constantly moving in circles around people and panning and all this stuff. So was it just one person there, or did you have the focus puller and the sound guy behind the camera?
So we had the focus puller was on a different monitor hiding behind one of the cars, because I was in one of the cars watching as well. But behind him is a sound person with like a boom.
With a boom, okay. Yeah.
Also somebody is like holding a bounce car too.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, so it was like every time he goes in a circle, there's like a trail of people sprinting behind the Steadicam operator the entire time. So
well, that's literally what I was going to ask, because some of these revolutions around people are fast. They're not. Yeah. It was like, around him in like a couple of seconds, probably maybe like 10 seconds at most for a whole so these people are like almost running.
Yeah, like everybody was real sweaty. It was pretty hot too, and I didn't think that through when we were coming up with the shot design. Like no part of me registered the logistics of how this would happen. But then everybody on the day was just like, I guess we'll just sprint the whole time. And like
crazy.
Because there's one part where Alicia, who plays Matt, like he gets punched in the face and there's blood under his nose. And that's because my friend Brian, who's a makeup artist, was hiding behind a bush. And so when they go past the bush, he joined the caravan hiding behind the camera. And when Alicia bends over, Brian like ducked underneath and put blood on his nose, and then ran and jumped behind a different bush. So it was like a lot of people coming in and out the whole time.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so that part, I just imagined that he had something in his pocket and he did it himself or something with the blood. But no, the actual makeup guy like dove in and underneath the
yeah, he's in and out in like a second and a half. It's crazy. Everybody was just like, yeah, I know how to do it, and I just trusted them, and I got really lucky, I guess.
So cool. It worked out so well. Yeah, and so no lights besides the bounce, and then
the bounce.
And then obviously there you had like a little video village in a car. Is that what you're saying? Like with a
Yeah, and
monitor, and that's where the focus puller
yeah.
was?
So someone was pulling focus. We had somebody pulling the iris as well, because like the sun kept going in and out of clouds.
Oh wow.
Uh,
Okay.
but then on the take we used, we lost signal, just like due to a technical error. So I didn't even watch that take until we were home that night. Like I thought it was a bad take because I couldn't see it. So I just let it finish. And then we went and filmed more takes. And then when we were watching everyone, we like found this secret take that I had missed in the moment. So we got super lucky.
If you lost
The AC
signal.
still had his signal, but I didn't
Oh.
have mine.
Okay, so just the direct. Okay, got it. Because I was like, the pulling focus was incredible. I mean,
Yeah,
there was
no,
like parts where I was watching for it, and there was like, I mean, there was particularly one part. I think she was like, yeah, I don't know. She was like at the car, and she says something like, "Stop! I don't want to hear about it." When he's talking about people getting stabbed or something, and he's just like, it was like a half-second flip back and forth, perfectly focused on her, and then back, and it was just, I was impressed.
yeah. I had I made one of these before, I would have known how difficult it was and like briefed people appropriately. And instead, I just showed up, and the crew just was like, "I guess this is what we're doing," and figured it out. But in my mind, I was like, "Oh, it's one shot. It's just like super easy. There's no cuts," and I didn't anticipate how
Yeah.
insane it was. And I got super ambitious just because like the camera was spinning the whole time. So like it wasn't even like an easy one or like a long static shot. It was just like I wanted it to feel as anxious as I felt. So I was just like spinning makes me anxious. So I don't know. Hopefully people don't get sick when they watch it.
No, I thought it was great. It had like a lot of like real kinetic energy to the whole thing, which I loved. I mean, and what I want to talk about the score later too, because that really added to that in a really great way. Where it was just building and building and building until he breaks the window, and then poof, like the balloon deflates. But I did want to ask, how many takes did it take the day of, and like how much rehearsal did you do with the actors beforehand?
Yeah. So we did like one rehearsal in my apartment just to kind of like make sure the script was working and not really block people, but just like think about what people could be doing. And then we had one couple-hour rehearsal in the parking lot like the week before. But then we also had some cast changes. So like we had shot on an iPhone, just like a test. And like I was filling in for some parts, and I just had friends filling in for parts. And then as we finished casting, we just sent that video to the actors, and we're like, try to figure out where you're supposed to be when, just from this like reference video that we did. And you know, the actors we use, a lot of them like come from theater or come from dance, so they're all really good at choreography, which like made it a lot easier because they were able to just show up on the day and, having never done it before, just like figure out where to be and when, which was again just me getting really lucky. Like I don't want I didn't like plan this out intricately and like really know what I was doing. I kind of just showed up and everyone else helped figure it out, which was cool.
Well, sometimes the key to success is just finding the right people
Yeah.
and know what
Yeah.
they're doing and let them do their thing, right? So
Yeah. And I think too, like actors are, you know, in film are used to doing like 30-second scenes at the most. So like the fact that it was 9.5 minutes, like halfway through, everyone started to like get on their toes. Like we could get this, like if we haven't messed up yet. And so like, it just like built the energy, and everyone was so excited because nobody gets to do like a full 10-minute scene like a play. So people got really into it, which was cool.
yeah, kind of a dream for an actor. It's like, it's awesome. Like so much
Yeah,
fun.
that was fun.
So where did you find this cast? Because they work together super well. Were any of them friends or like part of an ensemble before? Or did you just go through a normal casting process?
Oh no, they're all friends, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Alicia is like a good buddy. He's been in a lot of my stuff. Gabe, who plays Sean, I did a comedy show that I directed him in, and he's kind of from Broadway. And then Vic, I'd seen at a show at UCB and thought she was great. And Marissa, I've just known socially for years and had never got a chance to work with her. So they were all, you know, the main four were just friends or friends of friends. And then everyone else is just like a buddy who I made show up on the day. Like all the background people, like the tough guy is just a friend of mine who was like, I guess I'll do this for you. So like, it was a lot of me just calling in every favor I could and being like, there's going to be pizza. Please give me a couple hours of your time. And it ended up working out. But like, it definitely, we weren't really casting. We didn't do auditions or anything. We just kind of like found the right people and then, you know, tweaked the parts to them and their personality, which was super fun.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So I was curious about the location. It's in a parking lot. And how did you manage to get that permitted, or how did you pull that off doing like I mean, most shorts are low budget, right? So how'd you make that work?
Yeah, you know, I thought a parking lot was going to be easy because there's parking lots everywhere. And it was the hardest part of the whole shoot was like everyone in LA, like LA proper, so much money because nobody wants to shut down their business, and we needed
Right.
to film on a weekend, and it's like nobody wants to lose their weekend business. So I ended up driving up to Santa Clarita to look at a big mall, and next to the mall was like a shopping center with banks that weren't open on the weekend. So the whole shopping center was dead Saturday and Sunday.
Trick. That's a
Yeah,
trick.
we got in touch with someone there, and they were like, "Sure, you can use it." Which was cool. And they just kind of like, you know, we paid a little bit and they gave us the space and we kind of owned the whole lot, which was really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was just me driving around, honestly looking for parking lots. Like I tried all the like resources and online databases and calling location managers. And ultimately I spent like a Saturday driving every street in Santa Clarita and got lucky. So the best advice I can give people is like, sometimes you kind of just have to go do it yourself and hope for the best.
That's wild. That's wild. So out of curiosity, like I'm part of the location, I noticed that like at the very beginning when they first notice the dog and they're just trying to figure out what they're doing, like in the background, a cop pulls up and then just like drives away. And was that just like totally coincidental, or was that like part of it? And I just think it's hilarious that they didn't notice the cop. It, like, I think as an addition to the shoot, but I just imagine. It was just
I wish it was intentional. What?
Yeah.
So behind the banks is the sheriff's station for Santa Clarita. So like, it was this weird thing because we showed up and there was a car right in the middle, parked right in the middle of our lot, and we didn't, like, we were supposed to have the whole lot, and we didn't know whose car it was. And so we asked the sheriffs and they're like, we think it's one of ours, but we can't find the keys. So we were like, well, can we move it? And they're like, sure. So we like put it up on jacks or wheels or whatever, they are sliders. And we slid the car to a different part of the lot while the police watched. So it ended up being nice that they were there because they helped us like move some stranger's car to a different parking spot.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but then they just drove through the shot. At one of the takes that didn't work, a fire truck came through right at the very end.
Oh.
When Matt is shirtless, but like it was chaos and there was just too many sirens and we couldn't use it. But
heartbreaking.
it kind of worked. I ended up really liking the police car in the beginning. Some people were like, they could have just called, like the cops are right there. And I was like, oh, maybe that's the point, you know?
No, I think it's hilarious. I think it's like they're like stupid enough to not notice it, or even if they did notice it, they're like stupid enough to like not think about it at that point. You know? Because they were still like, I don't know what to do. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was just a happy accident. So Santa Clarita
I'm imagining
were very nice on the shoot.
I'm imagining the guy coming back to or whoever coming back to the parking lot and having his car like in a completely different spot, being like,
yeah, we moved it back. I wanted to leave it, and the producers were like, let's put the person's car back. So we did. It's back in the same spot. For all I know, it's still there. I don't know if anybody owns that car.
Hilarious. And I guess the smashing of the window, that was just a real car window, I assume. Wait,
oh no, that's digital.
Oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense. As that came out of my mouth, I was like, there is no way they broke like 8 car windows.
Yeah, no, it's like, so this is the rock we use. It's like a fake foam rock we had made.
And he just threw it through an open window?
And he threw it through, because that's my car that he's throwing it through.
Right,
so he throws it through an open window,
right.
And we just digitally put the window in, and that ended up working really well, which was great. I was trying to break my car window. I thought it would be fun, and everyone was like, don't do it. That's also, car windows are hard to break. If you go on YouTube and look up like videos of people breaking car windows, it's just people really struggling to break car windows. So I was very happy that we just faked it in the end, because like that's at the very end of 9.5 minutes, and like we were scared that like Alicia, who plays Matt, might miss the window entirely, you know, just like in the moment.
You're denting the car.
Yeah, so like we made the foam rock, and I told him like, if you miss, just pretend it went through. Like, no, if it bounces off, it doesn't matter. And actually, because it is so rubbery, when he threw it through the window, it's like bouncing kind of like a bouncy ball inside of my car, and we had to paint that out because it's like obviously a rubber rock.
Hey, I didn't notice anything. So you guys did it well.
Great, thank you. That was weirdly like that was like one of the easiest parts because I was so nervous. And like a day after we shot, the VFX artist was like, "Here you go," and I was like, "Oh, it works. It's perfect. No, it's great." Everything else took a lot longer.
In post, you mean?
Yeah, just like, there's a sky replacement in the beginning because it was very cloudy at first. So we wanted to make sure it looked bright for the very opening of the piece.
Sure.
And then like just music took a really long time to just kind of like figure it out because I didn't really know what I wanted. And I wanted it to like be building and be like this anxiety inducing thing. And the composer was great, but I like kept changing my mind on things until we ultimately got to where we wanted. So you would think like one shot, it could be out the next week, but it ended up coming out like 6 months later because it took that long to finish it, even though it was edited in like 45 minutes.
Well, right, yeah, but I mean, just cutting it is one thing, and then doing all the post like effects is another, and then the score and et cetera, color, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's another one of those things where I was like, it's easy because it's one shot, and then like we went to color it, it's spinning the whole time. So like power windows are coming off and on the entire time, and I thought I was like, everyone loves a oneer, and then I realized colorists don't love oneers because it makes their life really difficult. So
oh, interesting. So they have to keep adjusting the color on the fly within a single take. I don't know that much about coloring, but that seems really difficult.
Yeah, they just kind of have to keep like hiding things and bringing on new things.
Yeah.
And I was very happy with how it turned out, but also felt like I was getting my favors worth for sure.
Yeah. Well, I thought it turned out amazing. So congratulations. You pulled it off. Great. All right. I mean, I think that's pretty much all the questions I had. We could start wrapping up unless you had something else to say, but I was just going to ask you what's next for you? What are you working on now? How people can follow your career, all those things.
Yeah. I've times have changed a lot in the past couple months. So I've been focusing on writing as opposed to, I wanted to shoot something this year, but I haven't quite figured out how to make something. So I've been focused on writing. I have some feature stuff that I'm trying to get off the ground. Just trying to be creative and figure out what's next. No good answer there, really. I'm probably going to eat lunch. That's actually what's next for me.
Yeah, that's completely reasonable. And writing, obviously.
Yeah,
but it's like
writing.
Yeah, eating and writing. That's what most people are doing right now.
Yeah, the basics.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't really use social media, but just go to my website, I guess, patjam.com. But otherwise, just hope eventually a link ends up in your inbox and it's mine. I don't know. I should probably be better on Instagram, but
I don't know. No, the website's great. So what was the website again?
patjam.com.
Great. Perfect. Awesome. And I think before we go, so we should tell people what we figured out when you first logged onto this call before we started recording.
Yeah.
Because we completely forgot to mention it when we started.
So
and this is crazy.
This call began and you said you live in this part of town. And I was like, oh, I used to live in that part of town. And I said my address and you live in my old house. And not only that, but that's my old bedroom that you are in right now.
Yes,
So,
it is.
We've never met either until this.
No, not at all. I don't think I've heard your name before this film or anything like that.
So it's a small world. You never know who's sleeping in your old room.
Just an amazing coincidence. I love it so much. All right. Well, great. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. And good luck with everything.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
All right. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.